Good morning, everybody. Today we're going to talk about a couple things, following up my Americade videos. So I rode a bunch of bikes, but the ones you're going to see on video that are in discussion today is the Harley 2022 Lowrider Sport and the Street Bob. And then I unfortunately the battery is dead in my camera apparently, but I did ride the new Nightster, which uses the new liquid cooled Harley engine that they're putting on the Sportster S and the Nightster, and I think it's the same as the Pan America but just tuned a little different. So that bike, that's what I want to talk about right now. So I actually rode the Nightster. I really wanted to ride the Sportster S because it's much sportier, inverted front forks and a little taller and yada yada. However, I unfortunately just couldn't get on it due to the queue of the amount of people who wanted to ride it. So I rode the Nightster. I figured, they had it available, and I'm like, yeah, it's close enough. So this review is based on the Nightster. I'm gonna draw some assumptions with the Sportster S. So if I'm wrong, take that with a grain of salt. I fully realize the Sportster S is not the same bike, and a good suspension setup can radically change the way a bike feels. I get that. Very much get that, because I've done a lot of stuff to this. Anyway, so the Nightster. First off, this is a minor complaint. I just don't like this these new Harley controls that they've been putting on these more European styled bikes. I wish they just put the same controls that the Harleys have had for freaking ever on them. I don't know. I just, as a Harley guy, I'm used to them, which is part of it, but it's not even that. These just feel more premium when you hit the buttons. They have a nicer feel to them. They're super well laid out. I think Harley, again, I'm a little biased, has the best button layout of any company by far. Everything makes total sense where it is. Yeah, so that was one thing I didn't really love about it, but whatever. That's a minor point in the big scheme of things. I also wish it had the the two barred blinkers. Yeah, you're gonna go? Okay. That was your turn, but they weren't too committed to it. Stop it. That was one of the things. Now, as far as this is what I found interesting. Now, I don't know, and again, these are demo fleets. They get beat up a little bit. The bike had good power. Don't get me wrong; it was really good power. On paper, they're 110 horse, 76 torque, I believe. So it felt good. But maybe my standards are messed up or something. I'm not sure, but I got it out, I theoretically, in a controlled environment, not in America, I got it out on the highway and really opened it up. And I don't know, it wasn't as fast as I expected. I kind of had trouble getting much past, 115 or so, I think it was. I don't know, maybe I was in the wrong gear, but I'm pretty sure I wasn't. I was looking at the RPM, I don't know. It could have been me, it could have been rider error, for sure. I will happily admit that. But I don't know. It was interesting. I didn't have a ton of time on it. It was just a demo ride, so that's something I definitely need to explore more. I want to just look up the numbers too, whatever somebody's tested, quarter mile times and stuff, just to kind of get a rough idea of the actual real world speed. Dyno run would be cool to see too. So there's a couple different things, right? It's easy to put numbers on a piece of paper, but then that doesn't always translate to real life performance. But it did feel really good, 0 to 60, 0 to 80. It ripped. It ripped pretty good. It pulled the front tire up a little bit. It was fun. So I'm not crapping on it. It just wasn't quite the animal I was expecting it to be. But stage 1, 2, whatever, probably would make a difference as well. So that was that. Lean angle wise, now this is a Nightster, so it's a little bit lower. It really didn't have the lean angles I would have liked to have seen. Obviously, Sportster S, I'm sure, is much better. It did handled pretty well, though. It was not a bad bike handling wise, but I don't think it handled better than the Lowrider S, which I would have expected it to, just being a Sportster line, you know, with that heritage or whatever you want to call it. Just sticking the Sportster name on it, I would have hoped that it would have handled better than the Lowrider S, and that's also a testament to just how good the Lowrider S handles. Because, you know, I don't know how much better you can make a motorcycle of that size handle. So, you know, because that one's just that good. But I don't know. I just expected it to be the same or better. And again, the Sportster S very well may handle better or the same. The Nightster did not. It wasn't way worse, but it was just a little worse, a little bit bouncier. It just has like generic regular front forks on it, as far as I can tell. I don't think it has like any upgraded stuff in there. So again, you know, let's not get hung up on that. Now I'll go to kind of my bigger kicker, and this might be a controversial opinion, but here it is. So real world, it is probably faster than a 1200 Sporty, like regular, you know, like this bike. It probably is. However, it doesn't really feel that much faster in real life, at least to me. Okay, so for me to give up my air-cooled V-twin and just the sound and the feeling that this engine has, to give that up for a motor that real world doesn't seem to perform too much better, that's a hard sell for me. I really like the way this bike is configured. I think the way that this bike is set up suspension-wise, or something you can do to any modern Sportster, you know, of this chassis, you know, you can make these things handle really well. So I don't know, man. I gotta say, I think I would stick with something like this, and I'd be pretty content power-wise and everything else compared to that new bike. Now, if you're really into the newer tech and you really want the water-cooled engine and stuff, it is a pretty good bike. I don't want to sound too negative about it, but yeah, I don't know. It didn't quite. So, like, okay, for example, right? If I ride like a Yamaha MT, it's just like sort of a similar bike, like an MT-09, or if I ride the Indian FTR, which is a pretty similar bike, I get really excited. I'm like, wow, like this thing is fun. Like, and again, those bikes have more of the Sportster S suspension, so maybe the Sportster S would give me that feeling. But I didn't really get that like jolt of excitement. I just didn't. And I don't know. I think Harley missed the mark a little bit on the Nightster. At least for me, I really got to ride the Sportster S before I get too hard on it. But that's my analysis. So I just want to talk about that one for you guys. So anyway, thanks for watching. God bless America. See you next one.